I am very delighted to be able to ask Reverend Katherine Congdon, who will be leading this service tonight, to go forward, and she will be doing this co-hosting with Reverend Dr. Jon Krysko. Reverend Katherine.
Thank you, Bud, so much. So welcome everybody to our September New Light Temple service. Our theme this month, Resonance and Harmony. I'm so pleased to have Reverend Dr. Jon Krysko joining me in putting together and presenting our service this month. So let's look at the agenda. We'll go over the agenda for the evening. So we'll start out with our invocation read by Reverend Don Kunze, the seasonal observations presented by Reverend Dr. Bud James. I'll play a song that I wrote for this month's service. Then we'll do our usual quotes and scripture portion read by Reverend Dr. Jon Krysko and myself. And then to our presentation. Reverend Jon will be speaking on attuning to and sharing the divine. I'm really looking forward to that. Then we're going to have a short little bit of time to write or draw after the presentation. We'll move on to our experiential sharing, and you're all welcome to share. Then the universal blessing read by Reverend Natalia, our announcements by Reverend Bud, and then I'll close the service. And we'll begin with our invocation. Reverend Don.
Thank you, Reverend Katherine. New Light Temple was founded by Rabbi Joseph Gelberman as a haven where people of all beliefs and backgrounds could joyously come together to share their bountiful and varied gifts of spirit. New Light Temple is the ordaining body of All Faith Seminary International. Our purpose is to provide a sacred space for people of all faiths and ages to celebrate diverse religious and spiritual traditions. We gather for connection, inspiration, solace, and healing, while fostering understanding, peace, love, and unity. In the words of Conte, I offer you peace, I offer you love, I offer you friendship, I see your beauty, I hear your need, I feel your feelings, my wisdom flows from the highest source, I salute this source in you. Let us work together for unity and peace. And in the words of Rabbi Joseph Gelberman, never instead of, always in addition to.
Thank you, Reverend Don. Yes, we'll move on to the seasonal observations presented by Reverend Dr. Bud James. To you, Bud.
Thank you, Katherine. Appreciate that. And thank you, Don. So we're going to go over just real quickly. Here's a whole list this month of our wonderful celebrations that we're observing in September. People of many faiths celebrate holy days and festivals that mark important moments in their particular religious calendar. And these observances are really opportunities to reflect on our shared humanity, our shared values of love, compassion, and justice. And they create a sense of resonance, a sense of harmony as we look at them together. On the first was the Eastern Orthodox Christians beginning their new ecclesiastical year, and it's a time to renew their commitment to following Christ. On the 6th, Hindus celebrated Janmashtami, the birthday of Lord Krishna, a beloved and revered deity in Hinduism. On the 7th, Buddhists celebrated the birth of His Holiness Sakar Trinzin, the spiritual leader of the Sakya school of Tibetan Buddhism. On the 8th, Christians celebrated the Nativity of Mary, the birth of the mother of Jesus Christ. The 15th through the 17th, Jews celebrated Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, a time for reflection and renewal. On the 16th, the Muslims observed Shalom Imam Hussein, a day of mourning and remembrance for the martyrdom of Imam Hussein, the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad. September 21 through 29th, which we're right in, is when the Wiccans and pagans celebrate Mabon, the autumnal equinox. And it's a time to celebrate the harvest and the changing of the seasons. And it's a slight different timing all around the world based on the position of the sun and the planets. September 24th through the 25th, Jews will be celebrating Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, which is considered the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, and it's a time for repentance and forgiveness. September 26th through October 5th, Hindus celebrate Navaratri, which is a 9-day festival. Imagine that, honoring the goddess Durga, a powerful symbol of feminine strength and divinity. On the 27th, Muslims will be celebrating Mawlid, or Milad-ul-Nabi, the birthday of the Prophet Muhammad. And September 29th through 6th is a week-long celebration where the Jews celebrate Sukkot, the Feast of the Tabernacles. It's a time to remember the Israelites wandering in the desert and to celebrate the harvest. So as we observe these holy days and festivals in September, let's reflect on our shared humanity and our shared values of love, compassion, and justice. And if you know of any other important observations for September, please let us know in chat or send us an email at thenewlighttemple@gmail.com. And back to you, Reverend Katherine.
Thank you, Reverend Bud. So, as part of the service, I wrote a song which I do for many of our services, and this is called "Part of the Whole." So these were my thoughts when I wrote about this, about spiritual harmony and resonance between people, between our God as we understand God, as part of nature, which we all are. So this is part of the whole. So just sit back and listen. What am I but rock and stone and water? Hearing fire circulate through me. Who am I but part of my surroundings? I'm a part of everything I see. From dawn to the dusk, from east to the west, we are all connected as one. We must not forget our place in this world. Spirit runs through all that is. Yes, we are a part of creation, of spirit and of life. We are woven part of one fabric. A tear affects us all deep in our souls. From dawn to the dusk, from east to the west, we are all connected by love. We must not forget our place in this world. We are part of all that is. stone water. Air and fire circulate through me. Who am I? What part of my surroundings? I'm a part of everything I see. From dawn to the dusk, from east to the west, we are all connected by love. We must not forget our place in this world. We are part of all that is, connected to everything. I'm a part of everything. You're a part of everything. Yes, we're a part of everything.
That was beautiful, Katherine. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's an honor and a pleasure to be able to have these services to write for. So from here, we're going to move on to our prayers and scriptures and quotes. So Reverend Dr. Jon and I will be alternating with the quotes. Happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. Mahatma Gandhi.
He who is in harmony with him herself lives in harmony with the universe. Marcus Aurelius.
The highest education is that which does not merely give us information, but makes our life in harmony with all existence. Rabindranath Tagore.
With an eye made quiet by the power of harmony and the deep power of joy, we see into the life of things. William Wordsworth.
Love is the energizing elixir of the universe, the cause and effect of all harmony. Rumi.
The universe is not required to be in harmony with human ambition. Carl Sagan.
And above all, these put on love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. Colossians 3:14.
How wonderful it is, how pleasant it is when God's people live together in harmony. Psalm 133, verse.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Jon. So we're going to move on with our presentation. I'm very excited about this. A little introduction for Reverend Dr. John Krysko received both a master's and a doctorate in 2015 and 2016 from All Faith Seminary International, after initially being ordained as an interfaith minister in 1981 by the Fellowship of Inner Light. Reverend Dr. Jon has taught on subjects relating to the intersection of Eastern and Western spirituality at the Esalen Institute, the Open Center of New York, Wainwright House, San Diego State, and more. In 2018, he was initiated as a Kriya in Kriya Yoga. Reverend Dr. Jon, I hand it over to you.
So this is the part where there's some content to get our minds and hearts in harmony with the concepts of resonance and harmony, unity and balance. It's also going to be divided into two portions. That the content portion of which I just spoke, but it's also going to be a meditation, a visualization that brings you into the lesson, into the understanding. So on a brick bell tower of a Roman Catholic church, Holy Innocents in Pleasantville, New York, there is a large plaque with the words of the 133rd Psalm, appropriate as Pleasantville is in the town of Mount Pleasant. Our children grew up there, and it is a lovely, idyllic Hudson Valley community. My mother went to church there, that particular church, a wonderful community, and really that is pleasant. It was and is pleasant, but it had its issues, as did my family, as did and as I still do myself. The challenge was very clear to me then, how to be oneself fully, completely, and how to harmonize with one's family within the context of one's community. I thought often of that plaque, and I still do. What does it truly mean? And what is the spiritual challenge? And what is its imperative? Certainly, I engaged with the community. 25 years, I was a Rotarian, a president, a Paul Harris Fellow, traveled to South Africa for various projects I initiated, a church treasurer, and with my wife, who was head of the Episcopal Youth Group, and later a vestry member, as well as a 13-year stint, perhaps the most fun, serving senior citizens ecumenical luncheons once a month within the churches and the synagogues, perhaps the most fun. But also a president even now of the Westchester Interfaith organization, where we dialogue on important issues. So this overlapped 18 years of my being on a board of the Interfaith Center of New York, which is an outgrowth of the work of the Cathedral of St. John's. So I was deeply steeped in the community of interfaith and all that, but the lights of resonance. But what was harmonious to me and what was true to my soul, it's only really in the last numbers of years, perhaps when I came back to this with the blessings of this wonderful community that we have here, the seminary, is to take up my challenges, not to just do outside, but to see, well, what's going on inside the kid from Brooklyn. And so that's really what it was. So I was so out there in outreach that it really dampened sometimes my own soul yearnings, abilities. One quick anecdote, my daughter was just turning 7, and it got a little interrupted because we became the spotlight of a 48 Hours segment, if those of us that remember it, and they were taking different takes on being intuitive and psychic. And so we were the Pleasantville family having blueberry pancakes on a Saturday morning, and so it was, I won't get into the story of how I got on it, but they understood that I really was psychic and intuitive, which blew my daughter out of the water. And for months they wanted to know about Atlantis, etc. But that's not an expression of my soul. What is harmony? Back to the theme of the day. In Hebrew, the word that would have been used is yachad. It translates in a number of ways. It's oneness, unity, as well as harmony. Its intention is a particular state of oneness that emerges from following God's plan for ourselves and for the community. It's called the Song of Ascent of David, and it follows after that wonderful quote about living in harmony with a metaphor of oil running down the beard, head of Aaron, the beard, and then his clothes, when Moses poured it, anointed him. So what on earth does that relate to us in harmony? It's like when we have that level of experience, when we have that moment, it covers all of it. It's a little messy, with the beard, or clothes. It's a messy experience, but we really recognize something is forever changed, and we're called to serve the Most High in whatever capacity that we have. And are we not, each and every one of us here, and everyone, quote unquote, out there, called to that same task? For in that time of the prophets, in that time of crossing the desert, it wasn't just 2 or 3 people that saw this presence of God. It wasn't just Charlton Heston. It was a whole, everybody saw it, and they couldn't take it. They said, Moses, I can't enough. I can't deal with it. You and your brother Aaron, go up there, tell us what we need to do, tell us how we should behave, and we'll do it. But they saw it, and it was a representative form of government. It was not a one-on-one democracy, but I think we're actually called then and now to have that direct relationship, to find the burning bushes of inspiration in our life, to hear the word of the universe speaking to us in our language, that we may share it and build a community based upon that. It works better than to have representative government, I think. I won't get into that. There's a similar word in Hebrew, and not yachad, but yakad, which means foundation. And so those two words play off each other, that the foundation should be the harmony of being together, working for God. And working for God should bring us together and make us more foundational in our life. But it's easy to say, we're not Aaron. It's easy to make excuses. I have a beard now, which it does not make me Aaron, but it doesn't make me not. Every one of us is a potential prophet. There's this wonderful story when Moses sends out 70 of his people, just the way Jesus did at a later time, to start to learn about prophecy and to learn about prophecy. 2 hung on in the community and they start to prophesy. And Joshua, his right hand guy, comes up to him and said, hey, Moses, I mean, hand on sword as Joshua ever was. What do we do with these guys? I mean, no. And Moses says something that I think has been very meaningful. Would that every son and daughter of Israel were a prophet. 1,300 years later, give or take, Joshua becomes Yeshua. And Yeshua has, these people saying, hey, Jesus, they're out in the desert, prophesying in the name of the one God again. They didn't say again, what do we do, And he says, he kind of got the lesson. And he says, would that every child of Israel were a prophet. So we're called to something much greater, but how do we go about that? Okay. So how do we find out what that is? So today we're going to I'll talk a little bit about harmony and resonance, but we're going to get into those concepts and we're going to go into a meditational form that I call the cave of the heart. We're actually going to go inside the spiritual hearts of ourselves and see what God has in store for us. Cue the Indiana Jones music. Thank you, Bud. That is actually taken from the rock city of Petra, and it's a wonderful place, but I think the iconic image, will really serve to help us. But first of all, what is resonance? What is harmony? What's the science behind the terms, and what's the spirituality? Well, resonance is a reinforcement of sound as a musical tone in a vibrating body or system caused by waves from another body. Merriam-Webster. So basically, it's, you have one vibrating system and then another one comes on board and the same thing, and it resonates together. And that's a resonance from a scientific musical perspective. It also, another definition of it is that it's a feeling, a thought, a memory that a piece of music gives to you, or the quality of the music that makes this happen. Some kind of is a feeling state that's associated with that. Like in a piano, if you sing loudly, which I will not do here, really loudly, and you hold the sustaining pedal on the piano will vibrate and play that back as long as you're singing. That's resonance. It's also seen to be the phenomenon of driving a system with a frequency equal to its natural frequency. And when the system is driven at its natural frequency, it says to resonate. So what is this? I think of a radio, basically, okay, as it oscillates to the station's broadcast driving frequency, and we can hear it, we can experience it. But we can focus on the science of it, which is important, but we can also focus on how do we feel on it. We're going to focus on both. All sound resonances are due to a constructive or destructive resonance. Destructive resonance is not bad, it's dampening. It helps make it possible for us to really have a better quality of sound with TVs, and we're starting to use that. But we can also amplify it. Think of the Song of Humpback Whales, or think about you can actually someone could sing a note that resonates with a glass. If they sing loud enough, they could actually break the crystal. So there is that. I'll only give a hint here for those that are interested. In Egypt, as well as with Merlin, it's been said that they use sound to cut and move these great stones into its place. And that's there's a mystery on that we may once again come to, but sound is at the basic of it. What is a natural frequency? Back to that. Well, everything has a natural frequency. The earth has a natural frequency, and it's since creation, it's been the same, and the frequency is 7.83 megahertz, or hertz. It basically surrounds and protects all living things on earth. So think like Gaia playing a harp, a mother singing her lullaby to the children. It's all encompassing. And take a moment to think in your life, just for a moment now, to think what moments, just 30 seconds, what things resonate with you as being true, or you say, yeah, I hear something, or I feel something, a piece of music, and just write down one or two things that cause you to open up your heart and be more yourself. Yeah, it could be a piece of music. Just take 30 seconds and say, yeah, this resonates or has resonated for me. You can continue writing while I'm talking, but this natural frequency of the earth was discovered within my lifetime, 1952, by Winifred, Otto Schumann, the scientist, and he saw the relationship to the lightning strikes of the earth, and he was actually able to begin to measure that. And it's called, the Schumann resonance. It's really, that's where they discovered it resonates at a certain frequency. Lightning has a strong, is the mechanism that Earth balances itself out. Curiously, there are over 2,000 strikes on average per day on the Earth. That's good. That helps keep the natural resonance of the Earth in place and in check. Think about your life, about what lightning strikes in your life have helped get you back into resonance with who you really are. Kepler, the great scientist and mathematician, saw that they calculated the speed of each of the planets. He started, the mystical portion of him said, well, these might even be like musical tones. And he started to play with this idea, and it was really the one that really came up with the concept that we may have heard, the music of the spheres. He thought that mathematically we could actually translate that to tones, but the sound of it was so low that we couldn't hear it with our ears, but we could feel it with our hearts and our souls. And we're starting to find out that the solar winds, those charged ionic particles, as they pass through each of the atmospheres, or not only the atmosphere, the magnetic fields of each of the planets, creates a vibrational resonance that actually could translate into a symphony of the spheres. What else resonates? The human brain. Let's get back down to the science of it in us. The human brain has frequencies. The alpha, you all heard of alpha. Well, the alpha that it's about 8 to 12 hertz. Beta is 13 to 30. Delta is less than 4. Theta is 4 to 8, and gamma is greater than 30. I bring this up because you can see that, if you can get a little bit below alpha, that kind of state, a little bit of relaxation from the day to day, because most of the brain stuff that we do during the day is high alpha, low beta. We're in that 12, 13 range, which is higher. It's more pitched, more rapid, or whatever you want to call it, frequent. And so we're caught up in the day to day. We're missing the Earth's vibration. But when we calm down, even a light meditation, we start to approach that resonant field of the Earth. And if we get into the delta and theta, we can actually really, particularly the theta, we can actually resonate with the vibration of the Earth. And that's like a deep trance, or a light trance, mid-light trance. And it's really the place at delta and theta where young children and infants have their vibration. After 4 and 7, it starts to go away. They train their minds, we train their minds, and we forget it. But in our deep sleep and restorative meditation, deep trance work, we come back to that state, and we resonate with ourselves and the Earth. And there's a harmonic between us and the earth when we do that. So when we get into these deep states, we're resonating with all other beings and that which supports all other beings on this earth. Someone once said, I think you probably know who this is, unless you be as little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. I don't think that needs any interpretation from me. I think there's a science as well as a spiritual dimension to that. Unfortunately, the training puts us out of that state. There are people who, some of us have had that, can get into that naturally, and some who have had brain trauma, learning disability, ADHD, and they just drop into that, but they don't know how to work with that. There's a wonderful opportunity to work with those that have that using spiritual techniques. Harmony. What is harmony? Harmony, is generally done in the subjective. It's inner peace, calm, balance, feeling of being tuned into and attuned to the world and ourselves. Balance is the equilibrium that occurs when your body, mind, and soul are in harmony, which makes you, you. So that balance is the equilibrium that emerges when you are in harmony with that individual natural frequency that makes you individually you. It's not an either or, it's an addition to. Rabbi Joseph Gelberman. So harmony is also the enjoyment, the rhythm that comes from that balance. We have an opportunity to really experience that every day, but we have a pretty unique experience a few times a year to experience it, particularly during the equinoxes. So the next couple of days, think about harmony, think about balance, what brings balance, think about what makes you, you. The foundation of some of these ideas of harmony go back to Pythagoras, that great Greek initiate mathematician, polymath. He demonstrated with the string that, there is musical, depending upon the size of the string, and when you pluck it, there are harmonics, there are ratios that come up, and they have octaves, fourths, and fifths, and it formed the basis for Western music, but also our theories about harmony. So musically, what is perceived as harmonious is somewhat subjective and somewhat scientific. It's a little different for each of us. But when you have different notes that combine to form a new type of resonance, that's harmony. So much so that all the notes there kind of join together. You really can no longer separate things out exactly anymore, because there's a new kind of resonance, a new kind of field that's set up. And that's what we have the opportunity to do as individuals in our own lives. It starts, though, by going into our own natural frequency vibration. Because if we look to the outer to find out what we need to do or how to serve without starting from that foundation, Yachad, of Yachad, you're not going to be able to truly be harmonious with your fellow creatures, with humanity in large, and for the world and for God. So let's enter. How do we do this? What's the technology of that? Well, it's been around for a while, meditational techniques. Today, I'm going to lead you into a meditation, and you can put your number 2 pencils down or crayons and whatever you're working with, and just take a couple of deep relaxation breaths, because we're going to enter into the temple of our experiences. We've all had harmonious and disharmonious things. We've had things that lift us up and things that tend to cancel us out. But if we go into the Holy of Holies, as the high priest would do every year, if we can go into, allow ourselves to be led into our own Holy of Holies, we will meet that source. And then from that place, we can truly connect outside with others in a spiritually meaningful level. So take 3 cleansing breaths and begin to imagine yourself in a field. A nice field that's warm enough for you as the seasons change, where you can feel the warmth of the sun on your face. There's grass around you everywhere, and this is a very gentle breeze. You can see the grass is tall enough you could actually see the wave of the grass gently moving across it. And just take a moment as you look out upon that grass to begin to align your breath to that gentle breeze, a ruach, that spirit rolling across the grass. And breathe with the grass, breathe with the wind. Feel that spirit move into your nostrils. Feel joyful and peaceful. And feel a gentle presence, a golden white light, or some form of a presence, and however you imagine it around you. You're not alone in this. It might be a bubble. It could be a spiritual guide. Each has our own spiritual language. It is the same. And when you feel that presence, feel a light between your eyes, go into that point between the eyes and begin to flood your consciousness with just joy, peace, love, harmony. Feel yourself at peace and in love with all that is, as all that is loves you. And feel that reach the deepest portion of your mind, your heart, your body. And now, when you feel the alignment, you feel yourself called to begin to rise up and begin to cross the field. And you can see very close by is a very small bridge. And you feel enjoying, moved to cross this bridge. And cross the bridge and touch the handrails. Just wonderful energetics of the handrail, and look beneath you. And the water beneath you is really charged source energy, divine source. And feel that energy of what might be called negative ions. Feel that wonderful charge. Just go up and down your spine a little bit. And you know you're headed in the right direction as you cross over to the other side. And there's a smaller field in front of you, but in the near distance, there's a little bit of a hillside, and in front of that, or at that place, there's a wonderful cave. And you might picture it like the Indiana Jones Petra City, or it might be just a very large cave, but it's a very large entrance. And go up to it and feel that guidance, a bubble of protection around you. And as you come up to it, notice on the left and the right, there will be two guardians. And these two guardians will prevent anything from going into this place that is not sacred and not harmonious and helpful to you. And just feel that you might even see them as two pillars, if that's how you see things. But feel the strength of the support and the protection. And that little space as you go in, a little darker for a moment, and then as soon as you enter into it, it's wonderful white light. And you look around in amazement, for the very walls seem to be emanating light in certain colors and patterns that are pleasing to you. Be sure to take off your shoes or sandals as you enter, for this is sacred ground. And you'll be directed to the right, where in the privacy of this place, there's a wonderful golden bath. It's liquid. It looks like water, but it's clearly of a golden vibrational nature. And go into the water, at least up to your neck. Dunking is allowed. As you go in, feel the grit of the day of your life just be cleansed, be taken off. And this, it just, golden liquid just carries it away to the bottom, and it's just gone. The bath is not made dirty by anything that you bring to it. It's instantly takes it and removes it. And when you feel, take a moment or two in the bath and just like think of the cares and worries, concerns, angers, frustrations that you might have, unfulfilled ambitions, whatever it might be. Doubt. And then when you come out, an attendant will give you a robe. And notice the color of the robe and the sash around it that you tie in the middle. And perhaps during our sharing later, people, some of you might wish to share what the color is, and I will share what that might mean for you in your life. But as you let out, you find in the middle, there's like a very large hole that goes all the way up to the sky, it seems. An oculus, it might be called. And it just, the light is just pretty intense, but gentle at the same time, right in the middle. And you feel drawn to go up to that place. And it's a wonderful white alabaster gleaming table, more likely round. And go over to that table. And as you sit down, the same attendant or a different attendant will bring over to you some scrolls. And one of them will relate to the things that you would love to accomplish in this life and some ideas of how to accomplish that. It is almost like a graduation piece of paper. When they hand the graduation, it's almost always as a scroll, and traditionally, and you shake the hand. Well, this is that because we're all graduates of this fierce and challenging planet of harmony through conflict. So in a certain sense, this is a graduation gift to you. And in it, and you may just, if you don't have words on it, it may just be a feeling, but in it, it will reveal your deepest heartfelt desire of how you would like to serve the universe, your fellow man, and find fulfillment in yourself. And take it, and as soon as you hold it with both hands, it's almost, it might not disappear, but all of a sudden the energy of those words will seemingly want to go right into your body, into your heart. They're not just words for your mind, but feel it infuse all portions of your body, top and back of the head. Each breath you take, it just enters your heart, goes to your hands, down your legs, until you begin to find yourself becoming the very message that you would seek to bring to the world. And to the extent that you allow it to be for yourself, to be the message, is the extent that you will fully complete the circuit with the divine. Where it will not be just an intellectual message, it will come from every part, your heart, your mind, your soul. So be the very, this is one way to imagine and process being the very highest message that you believe yourself to be interested in and that which is interested in you. And while you're doing this, and as you're doing this, another attendant comes over, and it's a different scroll. And this scroll, when you open it up, has the challenges of your life. Those that have been, those that are, those that will be. These are equally important. Some you could see are being erased, almost becoming invisible. Some are still there. In order to accomplish the first, you must erase the latter. To the extent that you could erase the latter, which is the spiritual disciplines of whatever tradition calls to you, the more able you will be to be the embodiment of the message that you seek to bring. So take note of the first, of how you feel, what it stimulates. And then also take note of the second, as to what challenges there are and what disciplines you need to engage with. And you can take these scrolls with you. It's your own lending library with no late charges. Mine's been out there for 2,000 years, at least. So take them with you. Feel the abundant love of God and the universe and the support inside this cave. You can come back to this cave anytime you want, but look around, feel the support and the harmonious, the resonance, because your natural resonance is most at home in this place. This is your place of natural resonance. In future times when you come in, you could actually tone. You could, or whatever tones you like to present in there, that would be harmonious. And you could actually start to attune yourself and tune in, quite literally, to your natural resonance. And you could feel it resonate in your chest, in your head, in your body, but also in the cave of your heart. And when they line up, that natural resonance will seek to do something in the outer, and it will meet others which are also seeking to join in some way. And together you will find those who are harmonious with you. And go to the edge of the town, go to the town. And if they welcome you, stay there and you will be taken care of. If not, leave and dust your sandals off at the edge of the town. That's the metaphor Jesus gave for this type of thing, is when you go out in the world, if there's not resonance with you, not harmony, just put the experience behind you and move on to the next town. You will find, because Spirit is directing you, those places where hearts and minds of community are truly resonant with your soul and with who you are. And how wonderful it is, how pleasant, for God's children to live together in harmony. So begin to come out of the cave. Again, you can take those scrolls with you if you need to remember them. Give thanks to the guardians, always protecting it. Come back across the field, the shorter field, when you come to the bridge. And this time when you cross the bridge, really feel that natural resonance of the water underneath the bridge really charge you up. Because in our journey of life, we do need to be nourished constantly by Spirit, by Source. And we need that positive reinforcement of our energy. And then come across the bridge to the other side and find that place in the grasses where you were. Put the scrolls down for a moment. Sit cross-legged if you can, and just give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. And feel that wonderful presence that has been the embodiment of the natural frequency of Spirit for you. And give thanks to that. And come back fully into your body, where you're sitting, open up your eyes and take a few moments as Katherine plays some music to write down some of those experiences that have been meaningful to you today. Thank you, Katherine.
So we're going to move into our experiential sharing segment now. That was really beautiful. It's hard to come back and lead after I was off in some other state there. So who would like to share? You can share something of yourself and experience with spiritual resonance and harmony, perhaps something you wrote down or drew or took from this presentation, ideas you had beforehand. It's such a broad thing, our resonance and harmony, and Jon gave a lot of very interesting things to think about. I want to start looking into these theta and all that.
Well, you know what they say, Delta is ready when you are.
Okay. So, is there anyone who'd like to start out with a sharing? Bud, I see your hand up.
I put in chat a couple of things that came to mind as I was listening to Jon's wonderful, insightful sharing. Music that resonates with me, that really just, I stop everything and I just focus on it, is any song that joyously exclaims, exudes, share the love of God. And being a joyous person, for me, Ode to Joy is the best demonstration of that. Beethoven was brilliant in Ode to Joy, and there's some wonderful renditions of it out there that just open up my heart and my mind. And then music that really moves me into a much deeper level, or I should say harmonies, is solfeggio frequencies. For those of you who don't know what those are, that is a form of resonance that is quite interesting. And you listen to it with a headset, and in one ear, a particular frequency is played, and in the other ear, a different frequency is played. And if the difference is, now you talked about, Jon, that the frequency of Gaia, of the Earth, is about 7.4 hertz, right? Something right around there.
7.83, give or take.
7.83. Thank you. I couldn't quite remember that. If the difference between the harmony, or the frequency rather, in my left ear and my right ear is 7.83, my brain will in tune to 7.83. And you can't hear 7.83. It's below human hearing. You can feel it. And when you start to use solfeggios, you start to resonate at these various vibrations, which are very healing or very transcendent, depending on the different variations. The notion of harmony for me has always been, I don't know, since I can remember, a cappella music, just human voice sung in perfect harmony. And the one that modern representations of that is Voss's Eight, who are an amazing group out of England, and they sing from this very deep spiritual place. In fact, they actually sing in a cathedral. That's where they are actually homed and housed, and they have this amazing ability to make 8-part harmony in a way that is heart opening and mind expanding. So for me, this notion of resonance and harmony is something that is really, really powerful to me. What I drew, and you know, I'm not much of an artist, but what I drew was music and joy and heart and love. That was the imagery. And then my challenges were my obstacles that I had, right? And I drew them like rocks. And then the imagery of my path was, I was surrounded by my angelic guides that were before me, beside me, behind me, and just helping me move through all of these obstacles. So that was my visualization.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing all that. I was taking some notes. I want to delve further into this. For me also, the vibration of music and singing and harmonies, I find kind of transcendent. And, you know, that I think to me has been when I feel most moved, is when I've been hearing, harmony of human voice. There's just something that touches me really deeply inside when I hear that. And is there anyone else who wanted to share? I mean, Bud, so much about, but on any of those topics, or let's see if I.
Sure. I don't know how to. Hi
Oh.
there.
Yep, go right ahead, Rachel.
And I apologize. I don't know if people have their hand up. I'm using my phone and I can't really tell. So sorry if I'm butting in.
No,
I hope
you're not.
I
You
hope
are
I'm
not
not.
at all.
Okay. Yeah, and I just want to say, when I did that meditation, going through that and into that lovely golden water, and when I came out, I felt, I don't know what it was, but I felt like I got to meet the most gentle part of me that I don't think I've met before, you know? It was so sweet and so beautiful. So thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. That was very, very lovely. And yes, I used to study quite a lot of sound therapy, and I'd like to send you. I have a children's CD that I produced 20 years ago. It's called The Day in the Life. It's called Believe in Joy, and it's about the day in the life of fairies, and every song is in a different key with a different affirmation that resonates with a certain chakra. Yes, I'd love to send you all. I'd love to send you some copies, but as I was, because I have a song and the only words in it are "I love you," and that's in the key of F, you know, the heart chakra. And I did it for children, and when I would play these pieces or sing these pieces to children, it was incredible to watch how they would resonate and either be in joy or they'd be grounded. And yeah, so I've really enjoyed this whole talk. It's kind of ignited this whole study I did quite a long time ago, and I'd like to bring it all up because music, or just that, it's, and like you also said, to resonate and to choose your path that resonates. And we all know that if we're on a path that does not resonate, we will not be happy. We just will not be happy. And when we meet people that resonate with us, or we have a calling, whatever it is, we feel at home, don't we? We feel at home. Yeah, so anyway, thank you. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you for sharing that, Rachel. And I would love to see that CD. I have a 6-year-old, almost 6-year-old grandson. So, but I'd like to hear it for myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how anyone else feels, but I feel like I'm still, I'm on this path and I'm still looking for what I'm going to do in the future. And so I'd say that um, this guided meditation was helpful for me, just thinking about, uh, what it is I feel called to do. And all right, a lot of it is music, I'll just admit it. But where am I going to use that, and how am I going to use that? And then feeling entitled, is that the right word for it? But that I am good enough, or whatever, I should follow that calling, I guess you could say. Um, so anyone else want to share part of or all of what there was a lot. So if you want to share a little bit, come back, share a little more, or one aspect.
Okay,
Tell-
I would like to, my experience is the sounds of nature. And particularly being in woods or mountain areas where the trees themselves create harmony, the wind as it goes through, and it pulls you in, or the bubbling brook, just sitting by a bubbling brook and feeling the energy of that water. It's like it talks to you. It's just it's a presence there. Sometimes it's an early morning walk. I was thinking when I was doing the Camino, early morning walks in the mountain paths, and all of a sudden you just feel part of the whole environment. It's a silent part. So that's where I got it. I've also had the experience where the energy has kind of overwhelmed me and taken me to some place where I have been asked to do something. And in particular is a case I may have talked about in the past, where I was directed to give a eulogy at a funeral to people I didn't know. And it was like an energy just took me there. It was an interesting experience for me, but that's my experiences.
Thank you for sharing that. Oh, Reverend Natalia?
Oh, yes. So, Rachel, I would dearly love to be able to hear that recording of your children's. So, during this meditation, I kind of disappeared for a while, and I was led to my green paper that I wrote on, and I intentionally just turned off my background because I wanted to show you all that I was kind of led to my green bowl over here, my green singing bowl. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Loud and clear.
And then I was on mute because I was led into my chant that I was doing with the bowl. And it's the green bowl, and it's the heart chakra. So I feel as though it is a tone that I resonate greatly with. And so I began singing. None of you could hear me because I was on mute. But the chant that Rabbi Scott has told us about, the chant of the angels, the blessing of the angels, that B'Shem Hashem Elohei Yisrael Miyemini Mikael. That's Michael at my right. Umismali Gavriel. And then Umilfanai Uriel. Umeachore Raphael. That's Uriel in front and Raphael in the back. And then the divine feminine. Vial Roshi, Vial Roshi, Shekinat El. I don't know how that came across on Zoom. I don't really even care. But
It was beautiful, Natalia.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
because it said that the times I've tried working with the bowls online, the bowls kind of like overtake everything. So, and that's what, there's just an incredible feeling that becomes so internalized when you're singing with the crystal bowl and certain pitches and certain resonances that are just, yeah, words kind of get in the way with what it is that I'm trying to say. It's kind of like you get into the center of nowhere. And it's a very, it's a very, I'm going to stop talking. Because I can't express the feeling, you know?
So that's the mystical component, Natalia, when we get into that place without words, right? And that is a repeated experience of the mystics, of that divine connection. It becomes, the word is ephemeral, which means there are no words to describe it, because it is a space, an experience, a beingness.
My experience of that, Natalia, was almost that I was hearing the message. I was feeling your feeling of the Michael, Gabriel, Oriel, Raphael, and I could feel your energy. The bowls actually got in the way after a while because I was feeling your resonance, nothing against the bowls, but I could feel your resonance of who you are inhabiting that. Yeah, the bowls were good, but Natalia was better.
It was lovely. Did you, can you
Thank
tell
you.
me?
Rachel, I just want to ask you more about, you said that you had done each of the songs for the children in different keys that resonated with the different chakras, and I'm so interested in knowing more about what that work was.
Oh,
Can you pull it up from 20 years ago that we might hear it?
yeah, I'll send if I could
Well,
wherever.
I didn't mean in this moment. I just meant.
No, yeah, absolutely. Isn't it? Isn't this wonderful how this resonance and all this music it resonates with us all, and we're all so moved, you know? That was so beautiful, Natalia, and yeah, it was just lovely. Yeah. I'd love to know the name of that chant you just did.
B'Shem Hashem.
B'Shem Hashem, yeah.
Hashem, Hashem.
It's something that I've been singing very regularly, like every day with my grandson for months now. And I have been doing this sort of experimentation with the 12 different tones and singing it in 12 different keys. But I have noticed when Nicky Mario sings it a cappella, he always he sings it in the key of F.
Well, I'd like to know more about your singing bowl because I was really feeling that. I mean, your singing was beautiful in the chant, but first, that was ministering to my heart, hearing that bowl. I think I need to get one.
Or
I
12.
want to show everybody the picture. See, I have all 12 of them here.
Wow. All right. Better
Can you
start
see?
making money. That's yeah.
And I started with one. For some reason, I picked the A, pineal gland,
Hmm.
but eventually they all kind of came on board.
All right. Well, you're going to be hearing from me, Natalia, about that. And I definitely want to hear that CD. Is there anyone else who wanted to share anything further about anything that we've talked about or about resonance and harmony? Miriam.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Good evening. So what I want to share is two things. First, I've been kind of delving with tuning forks. So it's got a lot of frequencies, and there's frequencies for the planet. So there's forks that have the frequencies of the planets. There's forks that have the frequency of Ohm 128. There's frequencies that have 432, which is like the healing frequency. So all those frequencies are part of the sulfate. I could never say it, but the solfeggio.
Solfeggio.
Yeah, that's it. Part of that whole sequence. So it's funny that this is my first viewing of this class, and I've been kind of diving into it here and there, and I've taken a few courses here and there. So it's interesting that everyone on this call is kind of like on that vibration. The other thing that I would like to share, when the doctor, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. I'll learn everybody's name. When he was talking, a few years ago, I was in Austin, Texas, and I just so happened to get invited to a private cello concert. It was in someone's home, and this man, Michael Fitzpatrick, I had never heard of him, but he had given this amazing talk on how he had gone to the center of the earth in some cave, some
Sorry.
cave. That's all right. Some caves here in America. I can't remember the state either, but Michael Fitzpatrick, and he went into this cave with these Christian monks, and he recorded music there. And if you guys YouTube him or something, I guess Google him or YouTube him, he has this wonderful series of Peace on Earth, and what he does is that he plays what he played when he was in the cave. So it's really an amazing sound. It's pretty unreal. But to listen to it in person, it was unbelievable. I felt so honored and so blessed to have been present at that concert. And his name is Michael Fitzpatrick. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. If you guys Google him, I think you will be amazed at his cello techniques. And that's all that I wanted to share. But thank you for letting me talk.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you. I personally love the cello. That's another instrument where I just feel like I just, you know. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to look him up.
Miriam,
Yes.
Miriam, I am just wanting to say welcome and thank you for being with us this evening.
Uh,
Miriam, one of our students in this year's class at AFSI, has just joined us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Does anyone else have anything else that they wanted to share or
No,
Oh, Patricia.
Just wanted to thank everyone for being here. Dr. Jon Mundy, yes, Reverend Doctor, putting so much time and effort and just such heart into what it was that you shared with us. I take a morning walk 2 miles every morning around our neighborhood, and there are
Patricia, can you move a little
sorry.
closer to the computer?
I got it. It's my laptop, and I didn't have it open. But anyway, I did. Did you hear me, Reverend Dr. Jon Krysko, thanking you for the?
I heard my name, but it wasn't in vain. So I say, well, I'll just take that. So I'm good.
I just wanted to thank you for the heart that I could feel in what it was that you shared with us. Thank you so much, because what it did was it brought me to my morning walk. I walk 2 miles around our neighborhood every morning, and on every roof there is a mourning dove, and they are all singing, and I talked to them all. And what happened was, when you were doing the meditation, it took me right back into my walk, and there were no houses anymore. There were just the mourning doves. So it was just exquisite. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad I was able to make it tonight. It's been sporadic that I've been able to be here, but tonight was a gift. I'm so grateful. Thank you. And Rachel, I would love to hear that child's CD of yours. It must be exquisite. I don't know how we can manage that, but that would be awesome.
If Rachel, if you send it to me, I'll forward it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Patricia, if there are morning doves, are there afternoon and evening doves?
No, just morning doves.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's MOURNING, because they sound like
teasing.
they're morning, and it's just I never ever thought of it being morning, MOUR, and to me it doesn't sound like they're morning.
No, it sounds beautiful. I love it.
I love their sound.
Oh yes, it's a wonderful, deep, rich sound. Really is. It's kind of amazing.
Yes.
It's been said that that the dove represents the Holy Spirit, and so that seems to be around you an awful lot. So I'm sure that's not by chance.
Well, thank you everybody for your sharing.
I wanted to share too, because while I was doing it, I've also learned how to experience it while I'm doing it and hold it for others as well as for myself. And the two messages started to become one. At first, I was resisting that, but after a while, I decided I couldn't do it. So towards the very end, they kind of merged. I still don't know what that's going to mean, but the very challenges and the very dharma, or the things to accomplish, are now becoming one and becoming that. So that was very powerful. But while that was happening, I started to develop an earache. Like sometimes, like in an airplane, we've all had that. Well, maybe not everybody, maybe not Bud, but you come down and it's like once in a while you got to chew the gum and it hurts in the ear, like it really hurts a lot. I was having that, and so relative to what Rachel was saying, is it was my attunement to the angels, which is since age 2 has been extremely strong, and that world of the elementals and fairies and all that Celtic stuff, and I could feel the resistance in me. Trying to be more cognitive or more whatever, I could really feel that I need to let that go. And so when you said that really resonated. Oh, that's what that pain was about. I didn't get that's why I learned from each of you, and hopefully I've shared something that helps you. But that's it. Oh, that's what the pain was. Rachel's talking about the fairies, and said, yeah, I need to do that to really integrate myself. So thank you for that. It's I won't need to have a spiritual earache in the future. Thank you.
Well, if I could just say, I loved what everybody's bringing. I'm so glad I chimed in today. So glad I did, because you've all made me realize that I don't need to waste time compromising the truth of who I am to fit, because there's others, there's this beautiful group that I do resonate with, and I don't have to I don't have to compromise or cut myself short, anymore. That's
Yeah.
big. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Jon. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Rachel. That's beautiful, and thank you all for sharing. I mean, it's such an important piece of our service where we do share these things because we get further inspiration and ideas and resonate with each other. It's a very beautiful thing. Well, I guess we're going to move on now to our universal blessing. Reverend Natalia is going to read that for us. Reverend Natalia?
Our universal blessing. The divine bestows these blessings on us all: miraculous love and providence, comfort, hope, and healing, understanding hearts, resistance to temptation, freedom from egoism, equal vision, faith, devotion, and wisdom, spiritual progress and inner strength, virtuous hearts, compassion for the less fortunate, love for all. May these blessings of the divine rest upon us. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May we lift the veil and see the divine spark in all of them. Peace, shalom, salam, shanti.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Natalia. And now we're going to move on to our announcements. Reverend Dr. Budd?
Thank you so much. I will be happy to go through these rather quickly, but we've had such a wonderful, blessed event this evening, and I'm in joy. Please take a look at our Interfaith themes for the year. You'll notice that we are here resonating and harmoniously experiencing September. We've got our wonderful celebrations coming up, and then we'll start over again in January. If any of these themes speak to you, please let me know, or reach out to us at our email address. I'm going to drop that in chat. We'd love to hear from you. So if you would like to share or join along or participate in any way, we're always happy to have you do that. And you can write to us or reach out to the newlighttemple@gmail.com. Next month, we will be focusing on remembrance and reflection, which is going to be a wonderful opportunity for us to really think about something that I consider to be quite important. And that is, for most of us, we don't recognize our spiritual growth until we look in the rearview mirror. And we realize the things that were previously obstacles or challenges or things that really just lit us up don't do that anymore. Or the things that maybe didn't mean that much to us in terms of our own path, our own connection to the divine, open our heart even more. And so that's an opportunity for us to look at that topic of remembrance and reflection. And we have a few people that will be participating in this. And if you would like to, we'd love to have you. Reverend Dr. Jon Mundy offers a focus on A Course in Miracles with classes throughout the year. He's got a program going right now on the 50 principles of miracles, which are right in the very beginning of A Course in Miracles. And they do need a little bit of insight, and they do need a little bit of discussion because they're wonderfully deep, resonating tools that are spoken of throughout the entire Blue Book. And so if you would like to explore more, you can go to miraclesmagazine.org and find out a little bit more about those classes. You can always attend one at no charge. Reverend Larry Schwartz's book, Poetic License, Reflections and Renderings, is available on ipbooks.net and on Amazon. He's been called the Poet Laureate of All Faith Seminary, and he's published an amazing, very readable book filled with deep spiritual musings and insights. Reverend Patricia, who is with us this evening, is a graduate of All Faith Seminary and has been connecting with Spirit for many, many years. And she recently released the second volume of her two-book set, Tuning into Spirit. And you can find out more about her work with her beloved guides at tuningintospiritbook.com. Reverend Keith is an interfaith minister ordained by All Faith Seminary and received his Master's of Interfaith Divinity just last year. He's the author of Kriya Yoga for Self-Discovery, Practices for Deep States of Meditation. And he is in the same spiritual lineage as described in the well-known book Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. And he teaches about every 3 months or so a complete detailed class on Kriya Yoga. And they're quite powerful, very, very amazing. Kriya Yoga is an excellent path if you would like to incorporate a spiritual practice that is completely interfaith. That's what Kriya Yoga supports. And you can contact him at kriyabreath.com. Every week, another of our alumni, Imam Reverend Arif Husseik, along with the Common Word Alliance, have a healing prayer for humanity, which is an interfaith opportunity for people of all beliefs to come together every Friday at 3 ET on Zoom and have a discussion and a sharing and prayers for joy and love. And he's been doing this now for a couple of years, and it is a very powerful collective healing process. Another of our graduates, Reverend Wida Joy, offers deep meditative process that allows us to tap into our inner wisdom and divine essence. And you can join her at heartspiritcommunity.org. And of course, as we previously mentioned, New Light Temple is the ordaining body for All Faith Seminary International. And I assure you that there are brilliant grads and brilliant programs offered here. If you really want to explore your own path and go deeper into the mystical aspects of all the world's religions, All Faith Seminary is a wonderful place to explore and find that for yourself. And if you have any upcoming events that you would like to share, please send them to us at thenewlighttemple@gmail.com. And back to you, Reverend Katherine, for our closing.
In the interest of time, I'll make my closing quick. It's been a wonderful evening, and thank you so much, all of you, for being here. Thank you, Reverend Jon, and may we all remember the things that we've learned today and keep that resonance in our minds when we're taking each step in our days going forward. So peace, namaste, everyone. Have a wonderful month, and see you all in October.
Thank
Thank you, Katherine, for being our artist in resonance.
It's my honor and pleasure.